Okay, welcome. I wanted to give you a Nancy Guthrie update. Okay, as you know, I was just in Arizona, Tucson and Phoenix. I departed Phoenix on June 22. That was day 142 with Nancy Guthrie being missing from Tucson. I was in the East Washington Street FedEx building working on a computer, typing up some cover letters to go with the document that I wanted to hand over to family and FBI. On that day, June 22nd, faced with writing cover letters, it honestly stumped me because what I would write to Annie is different from what I would write to Savannah. So it kind of stumped me, but I did get the cover letters out. And what I realized that day, it was day 142, I believe, with days missing on June 22nd. It became very overwhelming for me when I was realizing how thick the document was and handing everything over. Because, as you know, I think there's 5 perpetrators. I think I've identified the getaway car and the route. There's just so many details, and I just couldn't send the whole package. So what I decided to do ultimately on that day was I decided that the information with respect to perpetrator 3 being the initiator in this crime, the person who thought of the idea, the motive, the mission, he started it. I had so much information on that person directly from Nancy's spirit that I felt that that was the most pertinent information to get to the family right away. With the rest of the document, it's not like I'm going to just put it aside, but I am going to put it on the side burner for this week. I want the family to have that document. I want the family to have the lead time before anything's given to the FBI. And I'm not giving anything to the FBI until I have just the right feeling to send it. But it's going to go in one entire package as one submission. It's not going to be several submissions. It's one big, huge submission. But I want the family to have the lead time on Perp 3. You can never guarantee what a police service is handing over to family. And I've seen it with the police that I've worked with. And because I've worked with families of the same cases, the families report something very differently than what I witnessed with the police. And that is the fact that they are kept out of the loop. So I'm not making any guarantee with FBI that they're going to hand that over. What would I know? So that's the reason the whole package, first of all, has not even been sent to the FBI yet. I want it in the hands of family. The closer I got to writing that letter in the FedEx office, as I was like, I needed to be on a plane and out of there. So, you know, nothing like a little timeline to race it up a little. Ultimately, the cover letter went to Annie. The cover letter went to Savannah. With Annie, it was decided to send it with no receipt because FedEx, when they send things with receipt, they will deliver it. If you're not there, they take it back, they hold it, and you can go back and forth waiting for it, and it's not really on your property. So I took the chance, knowing for a fact that Annie and Tommaso are not even in the country. With respect to their habits of being away in the summer, because he's a teacher, he doesn't need to be in the country until school time, August. So I'm taking the chance, considering I saw their no trespassing signs and they are being monitored in some way for security. I thought it was actually safer and more direct to send it without a registered requirement with a FedEx, which means they're going to just drop it on the doorstep at the address that is designated. They don't need a signature. It's going to be left there. So I'm going to trust that if this is particularly a more vulnerable year for Annie leaving her property, because this is the year that her mom has gone missing and they have been bombarded by harassment from the public, I would suspect that she's got a team watching out for that property. So if they're watching out for that property, they're going to be watching the FedEx envelope arrive. And I'm going to just let go, let God, as they say. The package for Savannah went care of NBC, and I'm recording this after the delivery date. It So both packages were sent on June 22, lovely power number, and I know that they were scheduled for delivery for the 25th. Okay, so that would have been 3 days after, 3-day return, and that would have meant on the 145th day, hopefully these packages were delivered as FedEx promised. Being concerned that the envelope for Savannah is going through NBC. It took me a little while, but I found the direct phone number to the switchboard reception to a real person in her section. And I got a real person on the phone, and I said, I have been investigating the case. I have sent a important document from FedEx Phoenix. It should be arriving any day. And I believe I called on the Thursday. I was calling a day before the date of delivery. So on the 24th, I made that call. And I did say that it was pertinent information to the investigation of the Nancy Guthrie case. It's very important that Savannah have the document. And I had said that I'm not asking for a receipt so that it's not taken from the property. So I'm relying on their reception and the real chain of command for how parcels get to people. It's addressed specifically to Savannah. So, okay, so what I did is I'm gonna just share with you, my phone's gonna die. So if this clicks off, it's because it's almost 90 degrees where I am in Canada. And I saw the weather for Tucson and Phoenix today, and I know you guys have some red alerts down there, so I hope you are keeping very cool in your air conditioning. I am not. I'm dripping in sweat. But okay, I'm going to just share that this page, the document that went to Savannah, as I said, should have been delivered to NBC General on Friday. Should have, well, 22, 3, 4, 5, actually Thursday. That should have been on Thursday. Okay, so what I did was I actually didn't give her any of my phone numbers or anything. What I did was, it ended up being, because I was at a FedEx computer doing the cover letter, it ended up being typed into an email that I just sent myself from my own email address, and then just printed it off at the printer. So worst case scenario, she's got my direct email address because of this is on the paper. So I'm going to skip a few things, but I'm going to go into just the basics of what I said in this letter. On March 26, 2026, at approximately 7:30 p.m., your mother in spirit appeared to me in my bedroom. I live in a converted Baptist church. I can see angels, and I see the spirits of the living and of the deceased. In this visitation, your mother gave me specific information about her burial, an injury to her left hand, information regarding how far she was taken from her home, what the burial area looks like, and she indicated to me that prairie dogs will uncover her burial site, which I absolutely understood to mean her remains can be recovered. She then appeared again on March 27 and explained to me she had always wanted to die in her own home, and that's the way she thought her life was going to go. And I kept hearing her repeat, I wanted to die in my own home. I believe that's why there was a struggle in the front entrance of her home. I reported the details of the burial site to the FBI Easter weekend when I was at my mother's home in Ottawa, Canada. My mother is 84 years old, has hearing aids, eye problems, heart problems, mobility issues that have her in excruciating pain, and I sincerely sympathize with your pain. Now, I go on to say that your mother has given me so many details, but it honestly seems overwhelming to present all of the information at once. And honestly, she has shown me that the bulk of the information I have is more suited to be given to Cameron, not the girls. It's too overwhelming, and Cameron would know how to confirm details that I have given. He would have the resources to confirm the details I have given. However, some of the most integral information your mother has given me relates to who I refer to as the initiating perpetrator. And I know definitively it is neither Annie nor Tommaso that is involved in this. She has provided a name, a tattoo, an industry, and location where this person could be from, and how specifically this person knows your family. She has provided details on the number of people in the home, the number of people on the crew, the driver, the vehicle, the route. You are most likely looking for a late 90s model Yukon that can turn all lights off during operation. She has given me information on how the perps in the house know each other and their backgrounds, and details on the location she was moved to, which I believe is 23 minutes north from her home. And she tells me the driver turned right out of her driveway. I have been driven by your mother. I have arrived in Phoenix June 10th and conducted a 7-day search in 110 degrees of weather to just confirm the details your mother has given me. I have narrowed the possible holding location down to 2 locations, and I know she is buried in red earth. I have searched areas with red earth, and I have actually searched with Nancy's personal hairdresser, and I name her, but I won't name her here. We met by a pure spirit-driven fluke, and discovered that, having booked myself into the hotel I was led to, her actual workplace can be seen from my parking lot of where I stayed. So that to me was magic itself, knowing to be in that parameter of a circle. I honestly have too much information to give you here.